Hello, I'm Brooks,
I'm Joe.
and this is another episode of Cantina Reviews.
Today we're talking about Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray.
So Claudia Gray has put out another book, much like Bloodline and Lost Stars, which were great books on their own. This one, another good book.
Yeah, she's probably my favorite author of these new books.
Yeah.
I haven't read the Thrawn book yet with Timothy Zahn writing, who wrote the original Thrawn trilogy. So I'm excited to read those, but Claudia Gray has been coming out with some really great books.
That she has. I mean, she seems to do Leia well.
I like how they've sort of given her the reins to fill in the gaps of Leia's backstory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in this one you get her backstory, and then in Bloodline you get, after Return of the Jedi, a little bit before Force Awakens. So, Claudia Gray has really taken control and command of these Leia stories. Which is
cool. I'm not upset that she has this, storyline that she's been creating in these books. So yeah, this kind of focuses on Leia as like a younger girl. Probably in like the early teen years, I believe.
I believe it's 16.
16, so the mid-teen years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it focuses on Leia at the age of 16, kind of becoming the rightful princess of Alderaan.
Right.
She's following her father around with the apprentice legislature and everything like that. And it gets a little squirrely.
Yeah, and there's like, initially the idea is that, to become prepared to take over the throne, when you come of age, there's a certain amount of like challenges you have to do.
Right.
She gets put with like a group of like classmates to do like the more physical aspect of that, which involves a lot of like hiking like trips.
Right.
And there's some cool like little side parts of like her bonding with these people. One who turns out to be a love interest was named Keir
Donati.
And one who is
in the movies,
Amy Lynn Holdo, who pops up in The Last Jedi. But it's cool, you get to see they're filling in some gaps here.
You get to see that friendship kind of begin. So you're not like, wait, who is this woman in this movie? It's like, why does Leia trust her so much?
Right.
And you definitely find out why in this book.
Yeah.
I'm going to preface it now. Spoilers will be from this point forward, if you would like to read the book. If you would not, then it doesn't matter.
Or you have read it, maybe.
Or you have read it, yes. Yeah. If you're going to read it, good book, pick it up. Spoilers now.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool how they kind of bring about the beginning of the Rebel Alliance, how secretive they truly are at this point, at this stage in the game.
It takes a turn, the book. You're kind of getting, the stuff of Leia doing like the challenges and with her classmates and doing these trips and stuff like that, and doing some like diplomatic type stuff for the apprentice legislature on Coruscant for the Senate. But and you're kind of seeing how the Empire works, and it's pretty shady, and they'll do some kind of seedy things and play it off that it was like the apprentice legislature's idea, and they were wrong. Like they do some shady stuff, and you get some cool interplay with Tarkin and whatnot.
Yeah.
But where it really starts to take a turn and pick up is she discovers her parents, who have been very distant and weird, have been plotting the rebellion.
Right.
And she finds them on Crate, where they are doing this and setting up the base and all that.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting how, the new planet from the movie is involved this far back.
Right.
As, a staple, if you will, in the Rebel Alliance. Another thing I thought was cool in the book was kind of seeing the strain that type of secret would have on a family that's kind of running it all.
Right.
Because Leia's saying that he's distant, everything like that. And then throughout the book, you see the progression of kind of the toll it takes. And then once they fully accept her as a part of it, you see them kind of come back together as a family, which I thought was really a really good note in the book.
Claudia Gray writes characters extremely well. I've been saying it, I said it in our other reviews, put her on a Star Wars story movie.
Yeah.
I totally think she should. But yeah, like we were saying when we first started reading it and we were talking about it, and we're like, wow, Bail Organa's being like a dick.
Yeah.
We didn't really think... He didn't seem like that in the prequels,
Yeah, no. And then here it's like you kind of see him because he's a father figure and he's getting super stressed out about all of this.
Right, and his big thing is like... he knows deep down if they're leading the rebellion, him and his wife, Leia's going to have to be sucked in at some point.
Right.
But he's trying to resist that for as long as possible.
Yeah, he's trying to put it off.
At the same time, while she's trying to become more and more involved. And she's going off and doing stuff on her own, or pulling Holdo into it, or pulling Kier into it. And, she discovers that they're pretty much preparing for war and stuff like that. And it's pretty interesting.
I think it's cool to see, like, the little side things that happen. Like, I'm pretty positive that Krennic's in this.
Yeah.
You see a deal where he's building something.
Right. He, so her parents, one of the things that was also bothering her about them, they were having all these secret parties all the time, and she was like, why are they focusing on all these parties? What it turns out is they're plotting the rebellion with, like, Mon Mothma and some other senators. And, Leia and Holdo stumble upon one of those senators who they thought was on their side, dealing with, an Imperial director in a white cloak, and they never say it, but I think it's Krennic.
Whoa! It was cool to see Crate.
Yeah.
It was cool to see Leia kind of experience the Force, kind of like backhandedly a little bit.
Yeah, so as far as like setting up some stuff in The Last Jedi, there's Crate, there's, like you said, there's Holdo. But yeah, Leia has a moment where she's in one of those like hiking trip things, and she's with Kier, and he has like, lost his rope or whatever, and he's like, they're gonna fall off this like the side of this mountain.
Oh.
And like his like they have these like projected shield things.
Yeah, some kind of weird shield orb.
Yeah, but his is broken. So she like grabs onto him, and she's gonna like jump them over out of this like crevice or something. And it's this part where she like stops and she closes her eyes and she's like feeling the world surrounding her, and probably something about balance, and she ends up doing this jump, and Kier's like, how could you jump that high? She's like, I don't know. The stuff like that is subtle. Like the Krennic thing is kind of subtle. Yoda. Leia using the Force there. Kind of subtle. It doesn't just say it.
Right.
Because she wouldn't know what it was.
Yeah, I think like what she does well with, as far as writing these books, is kind of, like you're saying, like the little subtle hints to things that we know and love from like the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, the new stuff. Like one thing that I specifically remember is Leia is having to go warn this rebel ship repair station that the Empire knows about it, and they're probably going to go destroy it really soon. So Mon Mothma's like, you have to charter a flight out of here. So she's looking for people to fly her out, looking for a freighter, like a very low-profile ship that no one would ever recognize. And it says that there was probably a group that she could have commandeered. It had a whatever model number vessel. And I look it up, and it's the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, when I was reading that part, I was like, Han Solo is here.
Yep.
I just feel like he is. Like she's gonna run to the Falcon, and then when it was.
Yeah. So the model of ship that she sees take off just before she can contact them is Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because it is the same exact ship that their ship is.
Yeah. Orlando.
Ooh!
We'll see when the Solo movie comes out.
Yeah, that we will actually.
Yeah.
But no, like I think she's very good at making things not super in your face. Like it's Han Solo and Chewbacca. You know what I mean? It's more of like, that could be them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's great. And, like I was saying, she does really well writing characters and making you feel very connected to everything. Another character she writes well that I thought she did in Lost Stars really well was write Tarkin. She writes Tarkin really well. And he's so shady.
Yeah, he's so, like, cringy at times. It's like, ooh.
Like, his dialogue is so, like, smartly written. Because he always has, like, an ulterior motive.
Right.
And, like, the way he says stuff is to get other people to admit stuff without realizing. And just, like, cool scenes with him happen. Like, throughout this book, he's, like, obviously on to something.
Yeah.
And he
knows something's going on.
And he thinks the Organas have some sort of connection, but he can't. He doesn't really quite know. And so he's really trying to play off of Leia because he thinks he's just, like, she's the weak daughter that'll give something away.
Right.
But during one of those dinner parties where they're plotting, Tarkin shows up.
Yeah.
Unannounced. And he's like, I was just in the area. I thought I'd come pay my respects.
I was like, how are they going to get rid of him?
Yeah.
Like, this is a meeting to help further along the rebellion.
Right.
And he just shows up. I was like, oh my god, what is going to happen?
Right. And there's just, like, it's a funny scene where like Bail and Leia's mother like fake a fight,
Mm-hmm.
and Leia catches onto it and she starts to cry. And,
Yeah.
it was a nice.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I'll
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that. But yeah, she does a good job of writing him.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, like every time he says something, the way she writes it and the way he says it, it's like, oh, they're gonna go blow up this rebel repair station, and she just knows because of the way he said it.
Right, and it's like a really cool look into how the Empire ran during the time, because it was like they weren't like everyone knew how cruel they were and knew what they were actually doing, but they would never obviously blatantly say it.
Right.
It's like the way they kind of like allude to things. It's pretty interesting.
So yeah, like a cool mortal type of showing scene was when her love interest goes to kind of get her when she goes to save the repair station.
Yeah, it's like a whole rebel fleet that they had been secretly
like building there.
They were like refurbishing like Clone Wars ships and stuff like that.
And basically they set the base to explode. He goes in to get more information, and it blows up.
Yeah.
They get him, and they go through the whole thing. Like, he's clearly dying, Leia's sad, everything like that. But then they turn the gravity back on, and she perfectly describes his body just falling in the back.
Yeah.
And like Leia and Amy Lynn are just looking out the front windshield, and they hear it. And I just thought that was like a oddly cool, weird thing, just showing that these people can die.
Well, and there's something along the lines of Leia is like, like in her thoughts, like she's like, it didn't seem as real until that thud.
Right.
It was such like a dead sound.
Yeah.
And that was really well done.
It was just a very emotionally provoking series of words.
The climax of Lost Stars was just so intense.
Yeah.
When the two main characters are, fighting on a ship that's going down over Jakku. And it's just like, she writes these moments very well.
Yeah, and it's very, very good.
So, like, not only does she do the character stuff well, she does the action good. Put her on a movie.
Yeah, like, if you guys are thinking that this is like Lost Stars was branded as a young adult book,
right.
I mean, the words are a little bit bigger,
I think this
they're
is
more
too.
spaced out,
Yeah,
but all in all, it's a very grown-up story.
Yeah, and I think, there's, both aspects of it. Because as far as, the young adult branding her book seemed to get, I don't know if Bloodline did, but, because that was more, political type. But, with this one, teenagers could connect with, the Leias in a group, and it's a school-like thing.
Yeah, she falls in love with somebody.
Yeah, and there's, that kind of aspect to it. But then, for the Star Wars fans, and just about anyone, you have all the Star Wars stuff. The rebellion is being plotted, you have Tarkin, and you have the Empire, and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, I would say if you're definitely thinking about it, pick it up.
Yes.
It's a good book, shop around for it. I'm sure there's multiple prices on it.
Right.
Or no matter where you look.
Yeah.
Yeah, Claudia Gray putting out another good book.
Right.
If you haven't read the Bloodlines or Lost Stars, definitely pick those up.
Yeah.
Lost Stars is great. I loved Lost Stars.
And you can see our reviews of both of those on the channel. We'll be reviewing some other books as they come out, as we read them.
Hopefully she puts out another one.
Oh, I hope that she just keeps them coming.
We'll definitely be waiting for her to get put on a Star Wars story.
That would be great.
Or for her to contact us, and we will definitely read manuscripts. We will definitely proofread for you.
Yes.
So once again, I'm Brooks.
I'm Joe.
And this is another episode of Cantina Reviews.
I haven't read the Thrawn book with Timothy...